right, and we are on episode 7 of Circle Craft Podcast. I am joined today with my friend Niko with Brixx and Mortar, and we'll cover his company, go over everything, what he does, and what he's passionate about. Just a little backstory about him. Brixx and Mortar, our story. We are a small operation from the Pittsburgh region, doing a hobby. We love to make products you'll love. We aim to use repurposed material, so you'll find that no two products are the same. We will strive to make products that we like and that are quality. Thank you for joining us in this venture, and hopefully you stop by every so often to see what's up. And something I find that's really cool about your products that you just mentioned is the fact that you repurpose your stuff. You reutilize it, and so no two things are necessarily exactly the same.
Oh, I know all about that.
Yeah, man. So that's really cool. So every piece of gear is almost like a fingerprint. So it's all unique. And I know sometimes people complain about that. And everyone likes to have everything exactly the same. That's like if it's not matching, people can be OCD and over the top and kind of obnoxious about it. Especially black multicam that, I think it may have been you that like one piece is bland with all black and the other one actually has pattern on it. It's mix mash. You get what you get.
I have had that issue before. A lot of people get OCP and multicam mixed up. I'm like, well, I wanted this. I'm like, well, that's not what you told me. You said multicam. And the shades are off. So when you send them one or the other, well, it doesn't match my kit. Well, can't do anything about that, dude.
Yeah, at that point, it's just almost like tough shit. You need to use your stuff anyway, so it won't really matter too much. But, that's some people are always going to be like that. There's always going to be something to complain about. But yeah, man, so go ahead and let everyone give a little backstory about you and your business and tell us a little bit about it before we jump into questions.
Yeah, so, it was never supposed to be a business. It was just a hobby. It wasn't even supposed to really be a hobby. I wanted an ear pro cover and I didn't want to buy one. And me being me and my millions of hobbies, I think we talked about this yesterday on your live. I decided went to Joann Fabrics, bought I think it was like $150 sewing machine and just got some crap fabric and went to town and originally figured out how to do it. I posted them up on, I think, my personal page, and people were like, hey, I want one. And eventually I was like, well, I'll just make a website. It'd be easier. And it sort of just took off after that. People were like, hey, can you make this? Can you make this? And I was like, not really, but I'll try. Now we're here. I always thought it was cool to repurpose things. My wife has a master's degree in sustainability, so learned a good bit about reusing stuff from her. And I always just thought it was cool. You have these patterns and stuff just sitting in shops, like just dying. So why not use them instead of buying new stuff? Even now, instead of just buying new fabrics, I'll get factory seconds just to use it. So it's just not going in a dump or being wasted. But other than that, man, I just like to make stuff, have some beers. I made a lot of cool friends on here while doing this. I think you saw yesterday with my live chat group, just a certain group of guys that stuck around, and now we talk almost daily. I've met a few of them. People message me, hey, can you make this? I'm like, yeah, sure. And if it takes off, then I'll keep doing it.
That's really cool, man. And I think kind of like what you said, wasn't really supposed to be a business, but I think that's kind of, luckily something that's kind of birthed from that. But at the same time, you're able to enjoy something that you're doing, and then you're able to distribute to people, and it's kind of caught fire. And so other people have kind of taken notice to something quality and, something with passion you've made. But,
so, more on that about catching on. When I started, everyone, cause my cousin, the Mortar side of Brixx and Mortar, he works in IT, so he was able to do my website and get it all started. and it looked like I've been doing this for years, when in reality I've only been doing this for a year and like 4 months.
Yeah.
But people were like, "Hey man, how do you do this? What did you do? How did you learn?" I was like, "I bought a sewing machine. I watched YouTube videos."
Hell yeah.
Well, that 2019, and I think he was gun runner on Instagram. He's now a designated hitter. He he kept making memes of like year of the sewing machine, because all these dudes just started buying machines and making gear. And I think I had someone ask me almost every day on what to buy, what thread to use, what material to use, how do I do it.
Well, I mean,
which is,
yeah, I was going to say, man, isn't some of that stuff
pretty cool?
I mean, that is really cool. So they're coming to you to kind of come back. I mean, isn't that kind of like one of those things where it's almost a trial and error, where some people just need to kind of, I don't want to say learn on their own, but I mean, some stuff you can definitely ask for tips and how-tos, but I mean, is it something that you kind of have to kind of maneuver your way through or kind of navigate?
Yeah, you definitely. So the YouTube videos help. They show you how to set up your machine, and they'll give you some tips and tricks. But when it comes down to it, they all do it somewhat differently. So it's more on you to figure it out. You know, you're going to figure out how your machine works, your tension, what thread it can use, what needle it can use, what material it can go through. Like when I first started, man, I was pushing the limits of my machine. I think a lot of it was hand sewn.
Yeah. It is with sewing machines, and I'll be honest, I don't know much about sewing machines. Is that like one of those things where it's really best to invest earlier on to a high quality machine compared to others?
So if you're just getting into it, and this is what when people ask me, and it's even in my story on Instagram, when you're just getting into it and you don't know what the hell you're doing, I always suggest just getting a Singer heavy duty from a craft store. That's what I did. Sometimes you can find them for like $150, $200. But if you have the money, Facebook Marketplace is awesome. Type in sewing machine or just type in Juki, a better brand. And sometimes you get a really good deal. I got my whole setup for $500 because the dude just needed to get rid of it. I'm still using it. It works, does great. So it really just depends if, you're going to stick with this, or if you're going to get frustrated, or you're just not sure. Like, don't go out and spend $1,200, $2,000 on a sewing machine and then, it just sits. Like, these are heavy and they need maintenance.
Yeah. So how much does one of the Jukis, how much does it normally retail, give or take?
So the one I have is a DDL 8700. I think MSRP is like $1,200 with the table and everything and the motor. But I got mine for, like I said, $500. It's brand new.
Sometimes
off Facebook Marketplace.
I mean, like sometimes stuff like that, the secondary market's the way to go too. I mean, like you said, someone just needed to get rid of it, or I mean, like that's kind of how I got my labeler, my thermal printer that's coming. Found someone who was kind of like just cashing out and getting out of the business of, having to ship stuff nonstop. I think he was like an eBay guy, and he had like a like new printer. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, saved me about $100.
There you go.
So before we dive into too deep, we'll do a couple, just fun questions and stuff like that, kind of like what we discussed. But so let's see here. We'll try to make them kind of quick, because otherwise it can snowball and then we can be stuck in them forever. But they're always fun. But let's see here. What is your least favorite fast food?
Burger King.
Burger King.
Burger King
sucks. They fucking suck now.
They have nothing good.
It's trash.
Maybe they're onion rings.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, see, and I'll come to their defense a tiny bit. I feel like they used to be pretty solid like 15 years ago. But like,
I don't know, man.
They changed.
Even as a kid, I don't think I liked them.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm in solo camp then. I think I've always been the only person who liked them. I like their like little chicken nuggets like a long, long time ago. But I was young and naive, so who knows? It was probably trash taste anyways. All right. So next question is, do you play video games? And if you do, are you excited for new GPUs coming out for PC, Xbox, or PlayStation or any new games for the Nintendo Switch?
So I do play video games, not as much as I used to, mainly because I can't keep up with the Call of Duty updates.
That's true.
So I grew up on PlayStation. I've had PS1 all the way up to the 4, and then I play mainly with my cousins, and wherever they go, I go. So we've done PC, we've done PlayStation, and now we're on Xbox, and we've been on Xbox for a few years now. I'm excited about the new models.
Yeah, they look really cool.
And I have a Switch. I get into a mood to play that.
Yeah.
It's not. I've always been like that with Nintendo games. Well, video games right now, there's really nothing other than the new Halo coming out. Nothing really catching my eye. I'm hoping Battlefield is better than the past two. And Call of Duty, like I said, the updates are absurd.
Yeah, they're killer. I'm totally with you. So I did the exact same progression I started with PlayStation up till 3, I guess. Maybe not even 3, but I'd always just went diehard PlayStation, PS2, and then from there, I think I had both PS3 first, and then it crapped out on me, and then I went to 360. So from 360, I really enjoyed it. Yada yada, especially with Halo. I mean, how do you not play Halo? And then like the original, like Elder Scrolls Oblivion and stuff like that. And then from there, I switched to PS4 because it just, on paper, it looked like it was just a better console at the time. Played it a little bit, but for some reason, I think I just switched over to the Xbox, and I have more friends there to play with. So, like you said, I've been on Xbox for the past couple of years for a while now. And then this year alone, I kind of made that transition to PC just to, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that I was missing out on because I wasn't on PC, and I have a bunch of friends who play PC too. But totally with you though. With Nintendo, I have to be like in a mood. I'll be like in a complete Nintendo grind for like a month and a half, like Pokemon. I'll play Pokemon. I'm like a OCD Pokemon player where I'll do like all the intricacies of it, and then I get so burned out on it that I just like don't play it for like 2 years, and then I'll come back to it later. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I played Animal Crossing for like 3 weeks straight, and I was just like, all right, I'm bored. Just ended it.
I haven't played it on the Switch, but I did play it on GameCube a long time ago. But yeah, Halo Infinite looks really cool. Call of Duty's updates are monstrosities. They are way too big. I forget that there's crossplay on Warzone now. We gotta hook up sometime. If you play Warzone, I think a lot of people are, but
I do.
Cool.
I'm terrible at it.
It's okay. It's okay. I used to be. I played it a little bit, and I was decent enough. But multiplayer is where I was really good at on Xbox, at least.
Yeah, that's where I thrive.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. How many golden guns do you have?
I think I have 2 SMGs to do,
and
then that'll be it for that class.
Nice, hell yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. We ought to hook up with that. Like I said, but there'll be a previous episode. It'll kind of pertain to. I always tell people I'm going to hook up with them, play some games, and then it just, everyone gets busy or time schedules never match up. But hey, we'll get to it. All right. So next question is there a show that you've been watching? If so, what is it?
Shows. I don't really watch TV. Normally, so I have my day job. So I do have a day job, and it's like the worst shift that you can have right in the middle of the day. So I don't really get to watch TV, but recently my wife has been rewatching New Girl. So I've been watching that, I guess.
I gotcha. That's kind of like my one thing my wife and I are able to like during the weekdays. She used to be, so she's, without going into too details and eating my own words on snowballing, but same thing. So she started off as a third shift at the hospital, which was, actually not that bad. And she even said it wasn't that bad. But then, like you said, she switched to second shift, and it was just a living nightmare because it's just everything is out of whack, and your day is just like you said, right in the middle of the day. So I'm with you.
That's pretty cool.
That was like our way of kind of having something to do was watching TV occasionally, especially on the weekdays.
You have no time in the morning.
Yeah.
And by the time I get home, It varies if I work like 12 hours. I don't get home till 2 a.m.
Sure. So all you people who are waiting on gear and bitching and complaining, shut the fuck up. My man's working out. My man's working out here. So, all right. So next question. And this one, I'm kind of curious on this one because I kind of go bounce back and forth. But what is your favorite camo pattern if you have one?
Oh, man. You know, I used to have favorites or a favorite, but now that I'm doing this, I don't know. Like right now I'm on a multicam arid kick. I've been mixing the two. I'm sure you've noticed. Looked at any of my recent posts. But man, I don't. Maybe like Mitchell pattern or which is like an early woodland, M81 woodland, or tiger stripe, like the original tiger stripe pattern.
That's cool. Well, I mean, I'm sure you told me you did listen to the Kickbox episode. Did you by chance check out Sarah's little tiger stripe project that she did with Vickers by chance?
I have not yet. I did want to look at that.
Yeah.
I listened to it on my way home.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little
last night, and I was like, oh, I'll have to check that out. When I got home, I crashed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There should be one on the website, and then of course you can always link up with her too. She's linked in a bunch of posts, but she's pretty talented with stuff like that. But we'll go ahead and move on. That's pretty cool. I think favorite camo with me. I'm right there with you on the multicam arid kick right now. It's definitely like my favorite. I'm not sure why. I mean, like around my area and like it's multicam is like almost perfect because it's, we're like I'm in like in a sand hills area and it's like green, sandy at the same time. But something about arid, I've always liked desert camos, I guess. And then I grow up and something about them that just kind of pertains and just sticks with me. But let's see here. So next, one last question, then we'll go ahead and kick it off. What is, in your opinion, an overrated superhero? It can be from Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, etc., etc. Superman. Good answer.
Super overrated.
That's great.
Everyone loves him. Everyone gets his tattoo. Everyone buys his shirt. It's dumb. Superman's dumb. Saying it.
That's good stuff. All right, man. So we'll go ahead and kick it off. I'm just going to let you just blow up and talk about Brixx and Mortar. What kind of, and you kind of already touched base on it a little bit, but kind of like what piqued your interest, what made you want to start Brixx and Mortar or got it going, and when you guys started, all just the whole bio and then stuff you're working on, we'll touch on kind of like in trends. So go ahead and start it off and let's go ahead and hear about Brixx and Mortar.
So how it all started actually is Johnny from Primer Projects. He convinced me to just do it. Because I was originally, like I said, I bought a sewing machine. I started making the ear pro covers, and people wanted more. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to get into this. Like, I don't know if I have the time. I don't know if I want to deal with it. And he was just like, dude, just get off your ass. You just got to do it. So I listened to his advice and I went for it, and I met a lot of really cool people, and that made me more convinced that I made the right move, and I wanted to keep on at it. I wanted to sew more. I wanted to do more things, learn more. And I ended up getting, I still have a lot of the original guys.
Very cool.
They've stuck around. They message me. They always like the first ones to buy stuff or like a new product. And that sticks with me. That means a lot to me. And I think that's the best part about the business is the dudes that have stuck around, and just shows that I am making something that people like. Whereas I'm not like the easiest on myself. Before my wife started helping me, I'd be like, hey, how's this look? Is this good? Is this all right to send out? And sometimes she'd be like, well, that looks like shit. Or other times she'd be like, that looks great. And I would think it looks like shit. And I wouldn't want to send it out. because these guys looked up to me, and I just wanted to give them the best. And I still try to do that now that I have grown. I think my biggest problem is I've grown too fast and I can't keep up. So before, when I had my, like in our live, the one dude was like 200 followers. That was like a year ago. I was able to ship stuff out. I would be like, hey, it's going to take about 2 weeks. Well, they'd get it in like 3 days. And I would do that intentionally. Like, oh, I can pump this out real quick, and then they'll be surprised that they got it so soon. And I think that's where I messed up, because now if I do a drop and people miss the drop, I still have stuff on my site for people to buy. And sometimes we have this stuff made already, but for the most part, it's all made to order, so I'm not stuck with it. But now that I did that, I'm going to ship it out in like 2 days to them. I think that had backfired, because now I get, hey man, I haven't gotten a shipping notification. I ordered an hour ago. And now I get everyone has to deal with that. But, I was one guy. Now I'm still one guy, but my wife helps a ton. But we are still, we have a baby. The pandemic hasn't helped. I was actually quarantined for 14 days, and that set us back in a big way. And, I got to deal with USPS, my day job. My wife is working from home now. So it's just a lot. And a lot of people, I get we're all doing the same thing, but a lot of people don't realize that. And I got off topic a little bit, but it is, I think that's my biggest problem right now, is just trying to keep up.
Yeah. And just to add on top of that, because I will admit that I was in that mindset a couple of years ago, and kind of like, and I think a lot of it, and a buddy and I have talked about this, is Amazon Prime has spoiled people. So people expect this today, and like, you order something and you get a tracking notification within 12 hours and it's out, you'll get it in 2 days. And I think people have to realize, if you want something handcrafted and handmade with someone who's, doing this as like you said, as a side job, like this isn't your primary thing right now. You have to have 2 drops to provide. This takes time. And, especially as you grow, you can't expect to get stuff ASAP. You just have to settle down and realize that if you want something handmade takes some time. I've had to kind of introduce that concept to some people to kind of understand, like, you can't expect to get everything this week. It doesn't work like that. Everyone has lives. Same thing with like buying and selling stuff. And just like you said, the pandemic has wrecked smaller businesses just like yours, where, getting stuff in, and, just meantime eating up stuff. So, I can only imagine how bad stuff like that. I know Cry shut down for a little bit, and like a lot of materials was kind of like out the door. So speaking of the virus and COVID, has like the demand for like the actual materials itself gone through the roof? Like, is it like a lot of stuff in right now everywhere in the world? It's like stuff is being taken off the shelves, like, firearms, ammunition prices have gone sky high. And then, even PC parts are through the roof right now because everyone's doing the same thing. But with that being said, I know some people were able to get $1,200 page, cash checks, and then they want to spend it. Has material kind of like skyrocketed in the cost per unit measurements?
Oh yeah. Multicam specifically, but that was going up prior to. And a lot of people said that was from like Nike, for instance, getting into the camos, just sort of jacked that price up. But yeah, Cordura definitely went up. For a while there, you couldn't get webbing. There's a webbing shortage. Elastic. There's certain other things I've saw other people struggling with to get. When it came to materials, the only thing I really got hit on was the webbing, and I have everything else already. But bigger companies, they definitely got hit, especially like Cry, and it was hard. It still is hard. It's mainly shipping right now. It's the biggest problem. Well, I'm trying to think. I don't think I had a hard time getting anything really. But I did notice the prices have definitely gone up.
Yeah, just I'll cap that little part off about just turnaround time and that that's what happens when a business expands and grows and like you have a bigger base, which is good because that means, like you said, people are enjoying the product, and then other people are still coming back for more stuff, which that's really awesome. I need to get one of your head covers too. I thought I ordered one, and then I went back and I realized I didn't. I must have actually not ordered it because I had like some cheap one off of Amazon for my Peltors, and then it's just uncomfortable. I need to order another one to hide one of my cords. But yeah, man. I mean, that's just the cost of it, and I think some people just don't understand that, or sometimes they're naive and think that you just have it if everything's on hand, ready to go, and like you said, even when you do, I mean, packing, even just a couple of shirts I've sold, that takes time. Like it takes a moment, like going through all the software.
Oh yeah,
getting everyone's shipping address down, going through what they ordered, and then after getting that done, going back and then start packaging stuff up and doing that. So, and you even put like a little unique little touch on it. So what's the deal with the net? Are you the official Natty Daddy? I'm not Natty Daddy. PBR. My bad. I'm sorry. That might be disrespectful. PBR.
No, you're fine. So we do have. There's a few guys that drink Natty, and I made the Natty Caddy, the little can holder to go on your rig. I have a lot of allergies, and alcohol is one of them. So when it comes to certain beers, certain drinks, I got to watch what I do. And PBR is just the one that's always treated me well. I don't get like sick or like break out in hives. So just stuck with it. And then when I first started doing lives, people were like, "Ew, you're drinking PBR?" I'm like, "That's disgusting." I'm like, it's actually pretty good. When was the last time you had it? They'd be like, "Oh, it's been like 15 years." Well, yeah, I'm sure it's changed a bit. You should give it a try. Now I've like somehow became the PBR spokesperson. People always send me messages when they're drinking a PBR, if they see a new version that I haven't seen yet, like the IPA. I had no idea they even made one. Someone was like, "Hey, check this out."
That's cool, man. So I didn't even know they made IPA PBR, so I'll have to go check that out just for the hell of it.
Yeah, so it's right now, I believe it's only in like 2 states.
Gotcha. Okay. I might be I'm probably shit out of luck then.
I know I am.
So it's like all variations of PBR are completely good. Like, you're rock solid. Doesn't bother you at all.
Yeah. I haven't tried their seltzers yet. I probably won't. It's not something I'm into.
I'm with you, dude.
But it's just the go-to.
Go-to, bro.
I used to drink IPAs all the time, and then they all just started to taste the same to me.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, I'm going to go back to like a draft beer, and PBR was it.
Hell yeah. I got you. I just figured I'd ask. I had noticed it a couple times he posted, and I thought it was really cool little niche thing, kind of like to add on there. And then I saw the Natty Caddy, and I was like, Jesus Christ. So that's pretty funny though. That's awesome, man. So when did you guys officially start? And I'll be the first to admit that I just recently jumped on the bandwagon. I think it was a couple months ago. I noticed someone had basically reposted one of your drops, and I absolutely missed it. And then I saw the shirts, and I missed the shirts. Like I missed your shirt, and then like everyone else that was on that same like launch day and everything like that. And I was like, okay, I need to get something from this guy. And then I think I messaged you after that. But when did you guys start officially? Like when did you really get up and go?
May of 2019.
Wow.
That's when I got my website up, at least. I didn't become an LLC until I think like 6 months in.
Gotcha.
I just had to deal with some stuff.
I hear you.
And some stuff will always come if anyone listening is going to get into making gear. You're going to have to deal with some stuff with other makers. Some some things are really cool and other things are going to pull your hair out.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, I think I touched on it a little bit. Like you, again, thank you so much for joining the live video. It was pretty fun, even if it was for just a little bit, just chatting and kind of hitting it up. And then your crew of guys were really cool too. But I kind of touched on that a little bit. That was like something I was always maybe concerned. Like I was really interested in making like a backpack. But in reality, I realized that it's probably not worth it and I don't have enough experience. And that was something I was always concerned about, that if it was somewhat close, it would wrinkle some feathers, so.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So I listened to the Kickbox podcast, and she had mentioned that everyone in the gun industry is awesome. And if there's a problem, it's you. Well, when it comes to the gear industry, it's complete opposite. I have met some really, really cool people. I've dealt with some really cool people, but there's some other people, man, that they just think they like own
everything,
own the world.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you use that thread I used, you can't do that. I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's like like they're trying to like patent a damn thread count or thread number.
Uh-huh. And that's the problem. No one has a patent.
Yeah, there's
you can't patent a zippered pouch, or if you put this hook on this way, but the other dude flipped the hook and now it's different. You can't sue him.
Yeah.
Like you just can't. That's it's competition. This is what this is, man. If your product is better, it will sell better than mine.
Yeah.
And people don't get that. They just get like super butthurt and then you end up getting DM'd, or it's just ridiculous. But for the most part, don't worry about it. Just do it. And if someone has a problem, you can talk it out or you can hate each other.
That's kind of interesting to hear, just because, like you said, that the market kind of exploded when you said people were asking kind of like how to set up and what to get, what to buy and stuff. So obviously, I'm sure that frustrated a lot of people, especially now that, everyone's been kind of stuck at home, and that might, give people the incentive to try and do things themselves.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So like, with that being said, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me because it's probably a different type of market where firearms or industry is kind of one thing, but like gear, I mean, you have to compete with other people who are using, like you said, I mean, you can't patent a thread or some stuff, half that stuff, or like a pouch and stuff like that. So it's probably ultra competitive where people are just cutthroat. So that makes sense, but it's kind of sad to hear though.
Well, yeah, and then you get these followings like I love Spirit Systems, and I've talked to Adam a few times. I've talked to a few other guys. They make really good gear, but they have a following that is nuts.
It is, yeah.
And if you even like think about making something that resembles something that Spiritus makes, they jump on you. Same with Superior Defense. Yeah. He just did the Flectarn. If I were to do Flectarn and Multicam Tropic, I could almost guarantee you someone will comment on my post like, "Oh, you copied," blah 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 blah. But meanwhile, I talked to Corey. He's a cool dude. We text, we chat, and a lot of people don't get this. Like I just had a guy recently comment on my photo, and I was like, "Hey, you copied blah 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 blah," and I was like, I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, I've talked to the other guy. Like we've talked on the phone. We've texted. This has been settled." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing hate, why don't you DM the company first?
Yeah,
don't just start posting and throwing hate everywhere. That because then other people they join. That like I'm a single maker. Like it's just me and my wife, and I see stuff like that. I'm like, man, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. If these people are going to be dickheads, why would I want to keep doing it? And it is that makes it hard. A lot of people, the more followers you get, the harder it gets. When I only had the 200 followers, it was easy. I could keep track of messages. I could talk to everyone, and I could get the stuff out quick. But now I'm behind. I don't get everyone's message, and if I don't get everyone's message, man, they're like, "Why are you ignoring me? Why? This is the sixth time I message." Well, dude, I get like 100 messages a day. My phone goes nonstop. There's days that, like Sunday, I'll just like put my phone to the side. I won't even touch it.
Yeah,
just so I can get a break.
You should, man. You should. Everyone deserves a break, no matter how much excess amount of work. I mean, you got to take a mental break, otherwise, the quality will go down. And at least in my experience, if you're not 100%, then that's even like what Sarah, she had like a mental reprieve, and luckily she was able to do that. And I took a complete reset with her work specifically. But yeah, man. I mean, like taking a Sunday off, Saturday off, or just mental break, just to be able to reset. And I think people need to realize that too, that it is your business and it is your products, but you're also a human. So you need, you need to have some time to be able to do this stuff yourself and in its own pace. And yeah, like you said, that's just that's growth too. But
that's the other thing. People don't like to read.
Yeah. No one likes to read these days.
There's a lead time on, I'm pretty sure, all my products. Now, most of the lead times are just exaggerated, just so I don't get those messages. But a lot of people won't even read it, and then they'll buy it. So for the most part, I make almost everything made to order. That way I'm not stuck. I'm not wasting time, and I'm stuck with all this stuff. That's going to change after we get caught up, and hopefully the pandemic ends soon. I'm going to start doing just bulk stuff and probably limited drops.
That's cool, man.
But it is hard. I can't sit here for hours and just make 200 pouches and then hope people buy them. Eventually people aren't going to need pouches, and then I'm stuck with 200 pouches.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like shirts. I pre-ordered my shirts, so I wasn't stuck with 100 of them. So what the hell am I going to do with 100 shirts? And then a lot of this stuff comes out of my pocket. Like, I didn't get a loan to start this business. I had to make the money, spend the money.
Absolutely.
And it's a tough thing to do. And people, I don't think a lot of people get that.
I think you're right. I think a lot, it's like just people that are naive and just kind of just, like you said, jump to conclusions, don't even get a second to, or just try to insert themselves into something, like you said, they have zero understanding of. So kind of like camo patterns where, jumping on, like, it's funny because you said the Flectern, and Flectern is like one of my favorite camos. It's like one of my favorite old school and just overall general camos. But, same thing with, I think, Desert Night and stuff like that. Like, that's a cool camo. And I saw a lot of people start doing that one again. I was like, that's cool. I mean, in one way, people get upset that someone's copying, but I mean, that's with everything though. If it's a trend and everything's popping, then you'd be stupid not to start producing other stuff as well. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, there's no patent on anything, and you're in the business to make money and give people what they want. And if what they want is this pattern or this product, then who are they to stop you?
Yeah, and you get on to people not knowing, and I've talked to Corey from Subdef about this. Dudes will complain about the price of something. Like, well, why is it? Is it? They have this like thought that everything comes from China and it only costs a few dollars.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. Like, everything I use is American made. And if it's not, like my Flectarn, I have Flectarn from Germany. I'll tell people that if they ask. For the most part, everything other than a few of the my BDU patterns, or if I use surplus stuff, obviously some of that, like if I get an Italian jacket, it's not from the USA. But a lot of people think it's cheap, and it's not, especially for a small business like myself, or trying to think of other small business, what's his name? Auto is like Auto Crafted or Auto Industries or something like that. just having a brain fart.
No, that's good, man.
It's not cheap for us. Like I pay $18 a yard for some multicam black, and then like zipper isn't too bad, but I use Vislon zippers, and that's YKK Vislon zippers, and those are expensive.
Yeah.
Velcro is really expensive. The more thread you get, it's a little cheaper, but that adds up. Like we're using good nylon thread. And people just don't get that. They're like, oh, this backpack shouldn't be $300. It should only be $5, or it only costs $5 to make. But it didn't. Like Spirit Defense, he has his stuff manufactured, so he has to pay manufacturer fees, find his fabric, source all the materials, and then I'm not 100% on what his profit margin is, but I've seen his bags. I've had the bags. They're expensive. They're expensive to make.
And I think that's a good point you bring up. I think people forget about all the little nuances of when you're building and putting something together. And I follow Superior Defense, and Corey's a cool guy. I don't actually know him. I haven't talked to him. I probably maybe have chatted with him once or twice, like between messages, like on comment or something like that. I think the first thing he said to me as I say that was he commented on how short my shorts were. That was like a while back, which I thought was pretty funny. But that being said, though, you're absolutely, and I tell people that all the time, that I think they forget those little things because he doesn't buy, he doesn't make these in mass amounts. So like you said, you can't sit on product. I think people forget that, like, if you just can't have everything in stock because, like you said, I mean, if the trend changes or people, no one wants this design or this, this pattern or this bag anymore, then what are you supposed to do with that stuff? You're stuck with it. And you can't sell it. And you're absolutely right. I think made to order is kind of the way to go, and pre-orders and stuff like that. So you can kind of get an absolute head count, and that can kind of gauge your market as well. But, like Superior Defense, I think it's another perfect example because people like to bitch about price and stuff like that. Well, I mean, I can tell you, I recently got one of his bags because I needed a bag. And I've had bags in the past that were just cheap. They just completely wore out. Zipper fell off, or they were cheap zippers, et cetera, et cetera. And I'd always kind of wanted one. And then I saw one for sale that was pretty much base price of what you'd pay if you pre-order one. I snagged one. I was like, man, when I finally came in, I was actually, I think I was overly impressed than what I was expecting it to be. Like I thought it was a lot nicer than I was expecting it to be, especially the sandwich bag. The sandwich bags, I think, is my favorite part, to be honest. I just love the sandwich bags.
I really like this.
I think he collaborated with Gear Wars, which I kind of want one of those Citadel book bags. I've kind of pushed it off, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, the quality's there on the bags and stuff like that. And I think the people, most of the time, what I've seen, the people who complain the most about pricing on certain stuff are generally the same people who will say, well, why is it not made in the US? And they don't even end up buying the damn thing in the first place. They're never going to buy it. They're just there to complain and bitch and complain about a price because they can. And that's all they can do is they just complain about a price, which, it is what it is. I think that's just something you have to deal with in every kind of market. There's always going to be that guy. That's like with guns too. It's like, it's like my Anderson, and I'm sorry if anyone's an Anderson owner, but like, my Anderson's just as good as my Noveske lower. I mean, like there's nothing wrong with Anderson if that's what you can afford. But at the end of the day, there's different manufacturing processes between the two, obviously, where one gets a tad more eyesight over and, overlook. But it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is, no, I've had people comment, just going back, like I made something that looked like someone else's, but in reality, it's just a pouch with a zipper. And I had said, because he brought up like quality. I said, we use the same materials, man. It's all the same. Mine's just cheaper. And he said, well, that's probably what you think about guns too. Just as good, just as good. Well, no, see, that's one thing I can't stand about the community is when people call each other poor. Like it started as a joke, but at this point, I don't think it is anymore.
Yeah. I think it's overly aggressive.
Yeah, it is very aggressive. And no, you can tell people will just save up that extra 500. Well, sometimes they can't, man. Like people can't. Like if bills change, your budget changes. Like you can't. Yeah, I was able to save up $500 this month, but next month, I can't. Like sometimes that's all they can get, and at least they have it. Like at least people are buying like Andersons. They have something that's a good sign. Like it shows, oh, people are buying guns,
Yeah.
or gear.
That's true. I may have bit my tongue a little bit there too. And I do agree with you though, because it's at the same time, I think that's on one side, you also have it to where, like I was actually discussing this with someone just the other day, and it was just talking about the people buying stuff up and buying gear, and pretty much it's kind of was aimed towards the younger generations, where a lot of younger people are kind of starting to get kind of piquing their interest. And I think it's thanks to people like Corey, because it kind of has a refreshing look on it, where it doesn't put this label as gun owners. But that being said, not everyone's ready to jump and spend $1,200, dollar bills on a rifle or something like that they're not really sure of. And
oh yeah,
I totally understand.
I just bought that. Yeah. I just bought that Zenith, and I was like, I'm almost sick to my stomach. Like, I can't believe I just spent this much on a gun.
Yeah,
but it's sick.
I mean, and that's within your means. And I've told people that. I think I said something to a gentleman yesterday in that little live. It's like, buy within your means. If this is what you can afford and this is what you can train with, then all to you. Go buy it and rock it and just burn it to hell. A used Anderson is a lot nicer than a Noveske that never gets touched or barely even gets shot. So it's definitely within means.
It's definitely, you brought up a good point, like Corey changing the scene, because it's not like NRA, like, oh, there's your double barrel, or like people like even Spirit Systems, I've noticed, has sort of changed their marketing a bit. Like it used to just be military, and now it is, you get skating involved and stuff, and like it catches the eyes of younger kids, and especially people that aren't in the gun community yet. Like I praise Airsoft. I think that's a great start for kids, and to get them. I mean, you can learn a lot from Airsoft, and I mean, people will shit on them, but that's getting these kids involved. Like they learn some safety stuff. They learn about guns.
Sure.
And then when they're old enough, maybe they'll buy one.
Absolutely.
Warm and Fuzzy, he like changed the whole scene. Like it's pretty cool. I'm glad I started my business when these guys got big, because then I can base some of my stuff off of what they're doing and just follow in their footsteps.
And I'm right there with you. And I 100% agree. I think Warm Fuzzy was actually one of the first ones that I kind of saw it. Not saying he did it first. It was just the first one that I recognized or noticed. And then I saw Superior Defense, and I listened to his podcast a good bit with Fort Knox. And he mentioned that. I think he mentioned in one of the earlier episodes, and that kind of really, really resonated with me. And I'm not sure why. It's like almost like eye-opening. It's like, you know what? You're right. I don't have to wear, dress, look, or feel the same way to enjoy firearms. I can have other hobbies too. And that just really kind of stuck with me. And that's kind of developed with this. And that's kind of what I've brought in. So like, for instance, I have a younger brother. He just graduated high school, and he's on his way to college. Hopefully. Yeah, he's going to college. But same thing. So you look at him, and he's just like your typical skater, long hair. He's in that style, like that whole skater style. He skates, and his buddies, and they're all great kids and stuff. But if you were to say, like, oh, it's just like the perception. Well, then, I'll take him with me to my range. And, sometimes, people, of course, will say, oh, damn, look at all that hair or something like that. It's just the perception. But, I think it's good for the young generation, no matter what they are. And like you said, Airsoft is great. I totally agree with you on that. That's kind of how I kind of got into firearms. It wasn't through Airsoft. It was actually through paintball. But it was a different kind of process for me. But I absolutely agree. I think that's really cool. And I see it, like you said, a lot of other industries are doing it as well. A lot of West Coast guys, I feel like, are kind of introducing that, like, surfing and skating. And it's finally, I think it's all coming together. And if you're looking at it in a poor way, where you're having younger, I can just kind of almost picture it, and I might be putting words in other people's mouths. Well, I don't want to do that, but like, older generation seeing a younger generation buying stuff, and then like skating, and then, punks, or like, why are, it's I hate to see a poor perception of younger generation that's trying to be interested in this industry, and really it relies on them to be interested, because if not, it's going to die. Plain and simple, it'll end up dying with the older generation, and younger generation is just not going to be interested. But I'm all 100% for them kind of changing that market and allowing people to relax too, and just you can enjoy other hobbies and be interested in guns.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that I completely agree with you with what Corey said about gun dudes need other hobbies. When I first started listening to his podcast, I didn't sew, and I was like mental in the guns and trying to get my Instagram going. I was like, I wanted to be a gun page, but it's not me. Like I like photography. It's another one of my hobbies. And I wanted to be the gun page. I wanted to get cool stuff and be an influencer. And then I did listen to that, and I stepped back. I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, just being like everyone else, got to be different.
100%.
You get these guys that make gear, and they specifically go for like the military or the shooter. Whereas I try not to say I make tactical gear. I've made a chest rig. I hate making them. And I make ear pro covers and stuff, but a lot of my stuff, I try to stay away from the word tactical. So it just ends up, you end up in a market that I don't want to be in.
Yeah.
I prefer not to be in a tactical market. I just want to make gear, drink beers, and just enjoy what I'm doing. And that's why I ended up making the Natty Caddy. I'm not in the military. I never served. I wanted to, didn't work out, and there's plenty other guys I hang out with that are the same. And we use gear, people say LARPing, but I got the gear. I have all the gear. I have a JPC, I have a SPC, and I've had all the spirited stuff. And, normally when I'm doing, I'm drinking a beer. So why not make a beer holder,
Yeah, man. And that's, I think what kind of hits home with me is that if you're not enjoying it, then why are you doing it? So I'm right there with you, brother. That's awesome. I was really Hulk Hogan-ish too, now that I think about it, since I said that. But yeah, man, I totally agree with you on almost everything you just said. Everything you just said with the whole tactical market and stuff like that. I think that it sounds bad. I think it kind of adds a, I don't know. Oh, it just kind of resonates poorly. And then also when you do that, you narrow your market down too. So it's like I don't want to be be stuck. It is awful, and I hate to say it, but you got to watch what you put. I can't use PayPal anymore because of gun-related purchases or selling stuff. And, that's sad to say, but my site is through Square. And, you got to read. A lot of people don't read the user agreement. You got to use it. Gun stuff it's not really. So I use Weebly that is powered by Square. Now, Square is anti-gun, but in Weebly's user agreement, it's more of a don't sell guns. But I will almost intentionally just try not to even add them into my site. So, I don't lose it. That's Instagram. I heavily rely on Instagram to sell my product. Now where I'm at right now, I could probably get away with not using it. But, you get blocked. They'll hide you. And I've noticed it. I check my insight stuff. I see how busy I am on certain days. I see who viewed this, who viewed that. And almost every time there's a gun, it's less likes, less views, less everything. And that will severely limit you, especially in today's age. And it is sad, and I don't agree with it. But, I got to do what I have to do to keep my business going. Yeah. And I am in complete agreement with you. I was actually bitching about that to someone else not long ago. While I have my private page, and then I have my my gun, my apparel / podcast page. Same thing. I used just as an example, I tested one. I used the same picture in one, and I used the same hashtags just to see what would happen. And my newer page that obviously is kind of fresh, new, doesn't have as many followers, or hasn't haven't really posted too much. The amount of people who viewed it was insane. It was crazy high. And I was like, that's interesting. So I go look at my private page, and it's like nothing. It's like 30 people. But I posted guns on it before. And I think, like you said, I think it does. I agree with you. So I've tried to be mindful where I keep it out of the eyesight. I think there was one that I had in there, and I took it down, and I've kind of slowly restricted it down, and I'll just have to do like story stuff instead. So people are wondering if I have guns at all, Yeah,
and you'll even notice that, especially in your stories. Like yesterday I had 700 people view this, but now I reposted someone's primer band on their rifle, and only 200 people saw it. That hurts small business, and it sucks that happens. And I want to show, like before, I wouldn't care. Like when I was a smaller business, I would repost everything. If you used my ouch pouch to hold all your pot or your joints, then I'd post it. And honestly, I'd probably get away with that more than if I posted it full of bullets.
Yeah.
But now, like, I'll get people repost and it'll be like them shooting or something. I'm like, I don't want to take the hit, so I'll intentionally either not do it, or I'll post one person's photo and then maybe hit them up again in like a week or two, just to show that I saw. And I hate it because I want to show my support, but I also need to be mindful of what happens so my business doesn't fail.
Sure.
Like Spirit Defense, he could probably do whatever he wants right now. He has a following.
Yeah, a cult following too.
Whereas I don't really have that following yet. Like I have my little crew, but that's not going to keep me going, right?
Yeah, and you're right. Kind of like you said, Superior and Spiritus as well, stuff like that. They've kind of got like, and you mentioned it earlier too, kind of like with their following, like a cult. It is a cult, And Subdef isn't a cult, or what was his hashtag? Was it Subdef is a cult?
Yeah,
that's pretty funny. I like every kind of marketing strategy that Corey comes up with is pretty rock solid too. He's a pretty mindful guy. But yeah, it's kind of sucks too, because I'm on that same boat, and I've kind of realized from the other page I kind of have to be a little careful, and I probably need to be more careful now that you've even now that I know I'm not crazy, bro. I'm not the only person who thought that.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised you got on the iTunes.
I am too. I will say this though, it took me a solid 4 weeks for. Maybe not that long, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks for iTunes to actually publish it.
Wow.
Everyone else, Spotify is instantaneous. And then ever since then, it's pretty quick as well. But I mean, that's kind of whole thing about the brand that I was trying to bring about was it's not all 100% gun related, and it's not all gun, focused. My prime focus to go to guys who make gear like you, and make different types of bags and do everything at home and home brewed and passionate, or people who make patches and do designs and vector work. And then I've got another guy coming up who's going to be really cool too, but I try to keep it not 100% guns, because at the end of the day, not everyone wants to hear about fucking guns every week. It gets old, gets stale, it gets boring. And if I'm not enjoying it, what's the point?
For sure. For sure.
Absolutely, man. So we'll kind of start tying it up a little bit, but one thing I do want to ask you is like, is there something that you've got in the works that you've got kind of kept up that you've, really excited about doing, or something that you have been promoting that's coming up?
So the newest product I've done is the bento, which is a little Japanese takeout box.
Yeah.
I have that coming, and I'm not 100% on what pattern I'm going to do, but it's probably going to be like M81 and DCU.
Awesome.
Maybe. We'll see.
Very cool.
One thing I am working on that I am actually really excited about is Archangel Dynamics He's a pilot. I'm going to butcher his title. I don't specifically know his title, but like he's a paramedic helicopter pilot. It's pretty cool. He has a little medical business, sells kit you need, and that's who I go through. He's an awesome dude. We are designing a IFAC pouch for canine officers' collars.
Very cool. I like stuff. I'm all about canine stuff.
And I think that's my favorite right now that I'm working on. Like I told you yesterday, I have a collaboration coming with Optimal Threadworks. It'll be one of his OG bags, but not 100% sure on the pattern. I did just order a ton of chocolate chip Cordura. Should be here at the end of the month, but we might just do Multicam Black and DNC.
Very cool. Very cool. And I'll tag those guys too, and I'll make a small little blog post about it and throw them on there, and then I'll throw them on when we post this as well. Just upcoming projects and stuff to keep an eye out for. But that's really cool, man. Do you find like a lot of smaller guys, and I'm not saying they're smaller, but like companies that are similar mindset as you, that they're more willing to collaborate and do stuff together, that like, stuff that you might not be skilled with, but you're skilled with this and that they're skilled with that, and, able to build something together?
Oh yeah. So, I don't know do you remember Warm and Fuzzy's laptop sleeves?
Yes, I do.
So I have a box of fabric he sent me and a bunch of his labels. I was originally supposed to make those for him.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, don't think he wanted to wait though.
Yes.
So that was like when I first started. I was like, man, this guy came to me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I made a proto and we talked, but he ended up going with, I'm pretty sure he went with LBT, right?
Yes, he did actually. I do remember that. Because I think we went back to him for some other stuff as well later on.
Yeah, and before me, I think it was Paraz Designs, and that's tough. It definitely made me anxious. I was definitely scared to do it. But like I've talked to bigger companies. I have a lot of friends now in bigger companies. Like I've met people from Eagle. I know a lot of industry guys now. But the smaller ones I'm more interested in working with, definitely. Like Miles from Archangel. I love working with him. I made some stuff for Corey, some custom stuff. And I'd love to do a collab with Corey. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Trying to think what else. I think Tam Famgram. I don't know if you follow his page.
I know. Yeah.
He's like a big influencer. I originally made primer bands for him. He does them himself. It's cool. But
it'd be better if it was you, though.
It's
It'd be better if it was you, though.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's just, that's, like I said earlier, that's just how it is in this market. But I think it's always cooler talking to smaller guys, and I have had issues with other smaller guys, but for the most part, it's pretty fun, and it's always cool to meet smaller shops and talk to them, and we go over like AutoGated. He needed, or he was in my live, and he was like, "How are you? Like, what do you use for like? You're using needles or pins to pin yourself together?" I was like, "No, man, I use these clips." And I said, "You can get them you can like 500 of them on Amazon for like $12." And it really helped them out. Like it made it easier, and it's pretty cool giving each other tips and everything.
Absolutely. I actually just started following him, I think just a couple of days ago, and he had some cool, I think his stickers were what I first saw that gained my attention, but he's got a pretty cool page too. But I'll tag him on that as well. But that's cool, man. So a couple of things in the works, a couple of collabs with some other cool guys, and everything kind of coming together. Has your growth still, like, are you still kind of blowing up? Like you're still kind of really just getting bigger? It
all depends on me being on Instagram.
Yeah.
So when I was sick, I grew a lot for some reason. I think it was because like Gun DMC and Tam Graham were reposting my things.
Yeah.
And it like blew up at like the worst time. So I had the Rona, and it really put a damper on things. And I grew a good bit. Like I went from, I think like 3,000 followers to like 5,000 followers in just a few months.
Yeah, that's insane.
And now I get probably like 30 or 40 a day now. But it all depends on my time on Instagram. And like I said, I'm on there enough. Like I'm almost doing this while at work, just so it doesn't die. Like I've even had like the company I work for has bought stuff off of me, like masks.
That's really cool.
And it's tough. Like I need to stick with my phone, but in other times, like I could throw my phone across the room. I want it to get away from me. I need a break.
Yeah, dealing with frustrating people and just frustrations of the little nuances you have to deal with, regardless of what it is. That's cool, man. In a way, it's like, it's frustrating because, but at the same time, it's kind of, I would imagine it's kind of exciting just to see the growth and just bubbling. But like you said, you got to be careful not to grow too fast or get ahead of yourself. But it seems like you kind of know what you're doing, man. It's like you really kind of got it locked down and kind of have an idea. And you have a good hardcore group of guys who know the kind of gear that you drop and the quality of it. People are starting to notice it. And I think that's the most, to me, that's always important. I would rather wait 4 weeks, get a quality piece than get something off of Amazon and get it next day. And then it's a piece of shit,
Yeah. No, I love my live chat crew. I think there's 16 guys, and they're just dudes that have just stuck around since like day one, or that I've met recently that are just really cool. And like we'll Zoom and we'll talk. I mean, they even pitched in all together and bought me stuff for my truck for my birthday, and it just caught me off guard.
That's great, man.
And it's times like that in the community where like a lot of people bash the community and say, oh, I'm sick of it, blah, blah, blah. But you're just not around the right people. And yeah, I was in that same spot. Like I was just like, man, I hate this. I don't even know if I want to keep sewing. And then these guys came together, and I ended up $500 bed bars for my truck.
Oh yeah, man.
Showed up at my house and was like, what?
I think what I learned from that is I need a better fucking crew, is what it sounds like. That's awesome, man. So we'll kind of wrap up with Brixx and Mortar itself, and we'll focus on you just a tad bit, and we'll start kind of wrapping the podcast up, because I know you got to work. You're a working man. You got to pay them bills. Got to get that bread. So, with that being said, your life does not revolve around firearms, and we touched on it a little bit earlier. You play some games, but what's a hobby that people may not know that you're really interested in, or something that you are also really passionate or enjoy?
I would, so I'm a builder. Out of high school, couldn't join the military, so I went into the trades. So laborer, carpenter, insulator. I did hydraulics as field tech, and now I technically work in the medical field, medical oxygen. I work with like gases and stuff. And so I'm always blue collar, but like when people see what I do, and then I'm like, yeah, I sew. They're like, what? But I think one of my bigger hobbies right now, other than sewing, is I really enjoy photography, like a lot, especially street photography. And I don't get to do it much because of sewing and then my day job. And like I have my daughter now. So it's tough to do the stuff I want to do, but photography is probably right now one of my favorite hobbies. One of like the hundreds I've had.
I'm with you on that one, man. So that's one of the ones that's kind of keeping you level headed, keeping you sane. Do you post a lot of your pictures and stuff like that? On your personal?
A good bit. My personal,
or do you have?
I don't really use it as much as I used to, because I'm on Brixx and Mortar so much, And now I just try to keep it like it was public. Now it's private because I got photos of my daughter on there. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure we've all seen the crap going around.
Yep. Absolutely. People are scumbags. So you really kind of have to keep, whether it's in a real scumbag aspect or just assholes or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that.
So like try to, I don't want people's looking at my daughter. So like now all my photos for the most part are done by me. I do repost a ton of stuff, especially on my website. If you have a cool gear photo, I'll use it as the product photo.
Very cool.
I've always done that. But a lot of my photography, if I don't post it directly to my profile, I will put it in my story.
Very cool. Is your photography more like gear related, or actually you said that already? So it's kind of like more.
I enjoy street photography, like just getting random people, like not paying attention, or like the city and stuff like that.
Gotcha, that's right. And you did say that just a moment ago. Like as soon as I said it, I was like, oh, you already said street photography. That's very cool, man. I have to pay attention. I may have just not noticed it just yet. But same thing with answering questions and stuff. But that's cool. And I think that's a good way to keep level headed. I have a couple buddies who are really good at photography as well. And unfortunately, maybe I just haven't put enough effort into it and trained into it. So what's your go-to camera? That being said.
So Mem Projects. So I have I have the same camera that Primer Projects uses. I don't know if he upgraded. I don't think he did yet. The Fujifilm XT20. And it's like, it's like a $900 camera, and then you got to get the lens. And I was like, man, this is a lot. And then Mem Projects come along and it was like, dude, this is all you need. Ryko GR2, 16 megapixel, get it used. It's like $200. I was like, but I got this camera. So I have both still, but I use the Ryko for just about everything. And if I don't use the Ryko, I use my iPhone and use Mem Projects presets on Lightroom.
Very cool. I know who I've seen him before. I may follow him, or if he caught my eye. But that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool to know. That's cool, man. That's good. It's good to know. And also, phones these days are becoming pretty sophisticated in the photography field, at least. Not just iPhones, just all phones, but iPhone. That's what I've been using as well for a while. So, but just seeing kind of like the time they've put into it, because they do, and they know everyone's got their phones on them. I'm curious to see what happens to the camera market. I mean, an actual camera will never be outdone by an iPhone, at least right now for a while. But it is pretty incredible what phones are able to do, especially newer phones.
Oh yeah, our wife has the new iPhone. Thing's nuts.
Yeah, that's 11 Pro, I think is what they're on. Yeah. Very cool, man. That's awesome, brother. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up because I know you've got stuff to do. You've got a baby, you've got life, you got work, all kinds of stuff, and
getting ready for that second shift life.
Second shift life, bro. I'm gonna drink a beer for you tonight, just for that, just in honor of it. I'll try, if I can find a PBR, I'll fucking drink a PBR for you. That's good, man. But thanks again for coming on. It was a blast.
Yeah, no problem.
I think I learned more about stuff that I had no idea, and the background and stuff. I'm sure people are also interested, and hopefully some shitheads will get it straight. You can't expect to get stuff. If you want to handcraft it, you're not going to get it in the fucking 2 days. You got to give it some time, let these guys do their job. And from someone comes from a similar background as you, just like you had mentioned, blue collar and stuff like that. And like my father was also all craft and all, builder, contractor, everything by hand, same aspect of life, just like what you were just saying. Everything has to kind of slow down, and doing stuff solo and doing it to a certain degree and a certain quality. It takes a little bit longer, but at the same time, like you said, well, why's the price cheaper? Well, in your smaller outlet, you're able to do that, extends. But that's great to hear, man. Again, thanks for coming on. I'm excited to get my order. Take your time. You can put mine at the bottom of the bin. Make sure you knock everything else out first.
You're good. You're good. We're getting closer to having everything done, and it's definitely a lot of stress off my back.
Yeah, no, of course. And if people are so damn, so impatient that you go buy a suppressor or something like that, then you'll be impatient. That's real. That's real bullshit right there. If I can buy a suppressor.
I got two waiting.
Yep, one right now. But yeah, man, thanks again for coming on. It was a blast. And I feel like we've grown closer past week or so, especially this week. So I think we got a lot of similar interests,
100%.
personalities and stuff. But any last shout outs or anything you want to? We got the three guys you're kind of planning on working with Angel Dynamics, Primer Projects, and Optimal Threadworks. Anyone else you want to talk about or throw out?
Recently, no, not really. AutoGated's cool dude. I don't think I'm working with anyone else. My live chat crew.
Absolutely,
they're always great. You met them yesterday on the live.
They're rock solid. Sharkbait, T-Rex.
Yep.
I don't know if T-Rex was one. I know he was in there though.
No, I was. I think Chocolates, Panda, Sharkbait. Tennessee was on there.
Yep.
Some Speed, he was on there. Yeah. They're all cool dudes.
Yep. Nicky Chocolates. I love that name.
Yeah.
You guys said he was 17. I didn't know if that was like a joke or something like that. And then
so he's the youngest in our group. Like we're all 20s and up.
Yeah,
and he's just a boy, little Canadian native,
little Canuck. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for everything, man. And I'm excited to launch this episode. But take it easy.
Yes,
have a nice one, and let's get this thing rolling.
All right. See you, dude.
Bro. Thank you. But that concludes episode 7 with Niko and Brixx and Mortar and their awesome company. Please give them a follow. Go check their stuff out. His Instagram is Brixx, BRIXX _ N as a Nancy _ Mortar, MORTAR. Again, that is Instagram Brixx with 2 X's _ N _ Mortar. Check them out. They've made some good stuff. I'm really pumped to get their all the little things I ordered. I ordered like 3 or 4 things. I don't remember what the hell I ordered, but I was just like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'll order that. I could use that for something. Yep, same thing with this. I could order that too. Hell, I said that I didn't get a head cover, but fuck, I may have. I don't know. I can't remember. It's one of those things. If I see it, I like it, and I just order it, and within reason, of course. But I need to get a bento as soon as they get restocked or when they get released. I like little things like that just to have, because you can use it for everything, man. It's like one of those do-alls for everything. You throw stuff in there, little packs, gear. I mean, anything. Like currently my little Spiritus fanny pack that my wife did not accept from me, I stole it back. With the splatter is on the back of my headrest in my Jeep, just to have. It's like a little do-all, throw my little knickknacks and shit in there. But thanks for listening. Don't forget to give us a follow, us as in me, because it is a solo show, and your support is needed to keep us going. Shirts are sold out, everybody. As of right now, there are no more shirts. New drop is coming up. New stickers, new slaps, whatever you want to call them. I like saying slap. It's just easier to say. They are coming. I do have some OG holographic Hell Roosters. They are still available. There's still some on the site. Last time I checked, there was like 12 left. That's it. I'll come back to them at some later date. But as of right now, when they're gone, they're gone. It's going to be a time before I restock them. So if you're interested, go snag them. $5 flat your way. Include taxes, of course. If you're one of those states that taxes, then I'm sorry. But it's flat. There's no shipping. Price is shipped. I try to include the shipping price in there for you. My Instagram is circa CIRCAKRAFT. Circa Craft. Check out the website, circacraft.com. You see what I'm doing here? I'm integrating it all, so it's all one word. So you don't have to figure out what the fuck, Check all that stuff out. Brixx and Mortar's website is, I should have had it up already. Brixx, BRIXXN as a Nancy again, mortar.com, one word. Check his stuff out. Check out the Natty Daddy, the PBR King, the PBR Destroyer. And check us out next time. Adios.
Have you reached a